What's in it for the black people? What's in it? What's in it for the black people? A minute. For the black people. 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 What's in it for the black people? Let's hear it. What's in it for the black people? Don't fear it. What's in it for the black people? Let's hear it. What's in it for the black people? Don't fear it.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show, and we are back. You know we was getting good, so they wanted to kill it. But y'all give a ring out to everybody. Let them know we still here. We still doing our thug thizzle. We back here. If you was on the live line, give us a call, 872-259-7474. The debate, Riis, I think Cam won. For the black people, at least. Now, but I think the money is going to be the problem.
Yeah, you know, I was looking at it, and I was like, man, if I can just, I was looking, and I was like, man, what I'm looking at is a group of black people with great ideas. If I can just take something from each one of them. And
somebody
just,
else said that,
yeah,
too.
Like
can
that's
I mix me a little Willie with a little?
Yeah, like if I can just mix or something, or like, you know, maybe if these were all people behind each other, I can see us having a real successful, you know, mayoral candidate. You know, unfortunately, it's a lot of great minds going against each other, but it was a lot of great points. Like I love Willie Hart. You can tell when you look at Willie, you can tell that he not in it for the money. So it's kind of hard to be like, because we so used to our politicians, you know, and for the money, you know, dirty, so we don't trust them. You know, you can see him. You see J. Maul. He want to start with the youth. You know, build them up from the youth. You can just see bits and pieces from each of them that if you can just pick it, like, man, boom.
Just imagine if we could work together.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I was just saying.
Like, I mean, like J. Maul, you could be the chief of education policy, right?
Man.
And youth outreach. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like there was a lot in there, and I don't want to denigrate anybody. I feel like all of them, the black candidates, could do us proud. I think the sleeper in this whole thing, though, y'all got to pay attention to the sneaker creeper, Brandon Johnson. I think he makes white people feel real comfortable, bro. And I think black folks like a smart black guy. So I think you cannot count out Brandon Johnson. And as the mayor runs out of money, right? Because she ain't running. Riis, I'm telling you, I want y'all to count how many mayor's commercials you see now. It used to be she was the only one on TV. That money done ran out, Riis.
She spent all that money on the anti-choice.
She bought like 4 different conversations. I mean, then she bought like 5 different commercials trying to figure out what worked. Yeah, Riis. All right. So anyway, I wanted to hear from y'all. We got calls on the line. Call you on the Maze Jackson Show. What are your thoughts on the debate? Who won?
Ricky.
MC
Hey,
Ricky
Maze.
D. Ricky D. Hold on. Now, MC Ricky D. I got to say this real quick. You know, it was something about that debate yesterday that warmed the cockles of my heart, right? And it was that warmed the cockles of my heart because when I heard the people in the background screaming and booing and all types of stuff, I was like, what happened to those days of politics when, you know, and the man was like, it's not fair that Brandon, I didn't show y'all that. It's not fair that Brandon didn't get to talk, trying to be compassionate while she lie over everybody. But it was something that warmed the cockles of my heart to see a candidate, besides me, standing up there trying to get his speech out and having to make it through the rowdy crowd. Now, Ricky, I know that even as old school as you are, you probably didn't have anything to do with that. And I know as old school as you are, you know, I know you had nothing to do with it. But when they told me that they was wearing red shirts, so that the dude was looking out there thinking it was his people, and it really wasn't his people, I said, goodness gracious. I miss the good old days of campaigning when it wasn't participation trophies and everybody had to get their squad together. That stated MC Ricky D. What's up, man? How you feeling today?
I feel really good today, Maze. But let me say this: Willie don't bring crowds. You know, I wasn't there. You know, we don't go there and heckle people and all of this and all that. Willie don't even want us there. He wants to just go up there and say how he feels and be honest with people. And I think that's also a fault of his. I agree with you that, you know, he could be more polished, but he's just direct and honest, and it's going to do what it do, you know. So I think Cam won the debate, but, you know, and Cam's my friend, but Cam knows he can't win. Cam running for something else. The problem is those something else's, as you have pointed out, 1 or 2 points can end up with a valid Chewy situation because you got them people getting 1 or 2. Clearly, Sawyer, if you look at Dallas to see one to be, you see some Sawyer names. Now, you don't see his name, but if you see his family members' names and his cousins and them names, then you know that Paul Dallas is funding Sawyer. And that's why we can't get along, Maze. You know, Jamal Green, come on, man. Snitches get stitches, not votes, okay? And he should pull up his pamper and get him a pacifier and wait his turn, but he's not willing to do that. When you have people who are not willing to put in the work, all they can do is attack somebody like Willie who gives away his own money and his heart is in the right place. Is he the most polished? No, he's not. Brandon, I like, but Brandon is stuck behind this $1 billion increasing people's taxes during a recession, during a pandemic. It's crazy. And he's only proposing it because the unions want him to do it. So he'd be a puppet of the union. He supported migrants moving in the black community against the black community's objections. 100% of the people in the 24th ward that I have spoke to and have been on TV have been totally against the migrants coming to the black community and that money following them when that money could have easily been in the black community. Why won't Brandon speak up about it? Because he's in a coalition with those people that are against our people. So we just got to be real about this game. Mazes of what's going down. We have to be serious about it and not listen to he never would answer the question about defunding police. He never answered the question about raising the taxes because he's voted for every tax increase that Tony Preckwinkle has proposed. That's what Brandon's record is on taxes. So we just got to be real. You're right. Chewy is just there. Vallis is just 1, do this, 2, do this, 3, do this, 4, do that. Is Willie smooth? No, he's not. But he's honest. And people need to look at honesty. On that thing about hunting down criminals, listen. We aren't, when the criminals know that you're not going to chase them, they just make it to the car, they okay. And they got guns, they're going to come and do another drive-by, and another drive-by, and another drive-by. At some point, we got to say to our people, and Tyrone Muhammad is my man. We don't always agree. But we got to say to our people, I'm good with the ex-felons. It's the current felons I got a problem with. Maze, when you come on, you talk about the weapons you have bought to protect your family. You shouldn't have to do that, but you do. You do. It's out of control, and they don't care. These kids running around here with assault weapons, sticking up people, beating down old ladies, breaking in people's houses. I mean, yes, we need to help them get trades, open the trade schools like Willie said, get them some mental health counselors. But some of them, man, they love that life. They out in the streets. And if they trying to kill you and kill me and kill Riis, you know what we would do. I know what Riis would do. I know what Maze would do. You know what I'm going to do. I'm going to protect me and my family. And then we'll pray for them. So we need to look at the whole. Now, by the way, Lori did look really nice. I think she did a decent job. Sophia did a great job. But people who can't win, we need to just wait. Tell them they need to wait till later. But they ain't going to do it. Because like Sawyer, Baldwin paid for. So they're not going to drop out. And we just got to say, hey, this is the one because there's only going to be one that gets our support who can beat Paul Vallis in the runoff, because Paul Vallis going to make the runoff.
Man, Paul Vallis is going to make the runoff. You think it's Chewy, or do you think it's the mayor? I know we shooting for Willie. My concern is that so many black folks are chopping up this vote. If it wasn't Willie, who you think is the second candidate?
I believe it's going to be Willie or Lori. I think people keep underestimating. I mean, Willie, Lori, and Coach Chewy say people underestimating the power of the mayor's office, the incumbency, the power of the incumbency. Like Willie said the other day, ComEd just gave Lori $100 million that she can spend any way she wants at her discretion. $100 million. They didn't give her that money for nothing. Rate increases, did whatever. But my point is, the mayor's office can use that money and those resources at a level that Willie can't even get close to, if you want to talk about his giveaways, and he's been doing that 40 years. But I think she's going to be there if we're not careful. If people want to get rid of Lori, it's going to end up Lori and Dallas, and they're going to go with Dallas.
Oh, well, let me just tell you, she straight up at the Black Press joint was like, if you think Willie Wilson is competent enough to run the business, I mean, I just felt like, do you realize you're talking to black people here? All these black people in some way, shape, or form have benefited from this brother. He is a multimillionaire, richer than everybody. And I mean, she talked about him like he was a nine, and it's like, I just feel.
And he supported her. And he gave her $20,000.
Hey, and on top of that, she tried to call him a MAGA Republican, and I was like, wasn't Ty Fainer your campaign director? The chairman of your campaign. Didn't you give away the recovery to Sam Skinner? Like, what? Didn't you go? The first picture you took nationally after you won was to go take a picture with Ivanka Trump, and I just be like, y'all be so. It's okay. That's why I'm not making no enemies, because guess what I'm about to do? I'm about to go get paid.
You're right. I'll do it. We need to look beyond the rhetoric. We need to look beyond the professionally produced TV commercials and look at a person's heart. Lori knows she's wrong for that. Lori knows Willie was trying to, when we were in the middle of the pandemic, she closed the churches. Come on, man. You need Jesus in times like that. You know, you keep the weed stores open. I ain't mad at that, because, I was and the liquor stores open, but you close the churches. What? Who stood up for the churches being reopened? Who went there and was getting arrested and fined, and who paid all the fines? Willie Wilson. Willie done gave money to everybody on that stage, man. All of them. And they attack him. This man does international business. Vietnam, China, Africa. Come on, man. You ain't no Slowski doing that. And then Jamal Sharecropper, he came up from nothing. We should be celebrating this man. He had nothing. Ran away from school. Home at 13. He dropped out of school in 7th grade. He still made it. That's what we should be telling our kids out here who wilding out. Y'all can still make it too. And you're right, man. If we could come together, we could do some great things. But we cannot. I remember Harriet Tubman said she would have saved more Negroes, more out of slavery, I'm talking about, if they had knew they were slaves, if they hadn't sold out to the white man. She had to shoot some black folks at the river because they were telling the white man, the slave master, that the blacks was going to escape across the river. What choice did she have but to hunt them down and kill those who was with them slave master against our people? And people don't have to believe me. Check out what Harriet Tubman said. Check out what Sir Julian Truth said. Check out what Nat Turner said. It was some of our people that they had to do what they had to do in order for us to be free. So I'm passionate this morning because I'm glad that they attacked Willie, so he can finally let people know the fire that's in his heart for our people. Don't just vote for the smooth talkers. You better vote for somebody who is true about what's in it for the black people. Yeah, we can deal with the other people. My other issue with Brandon is on these migrants. How are you going to tell a black community that you're okay with migrants moving into the black neighborhood who have a Latino ancestry instead of them being in the Latino ward? He don't want to piss off his Latino allies. And we got to be real about it. Is he a child brother? Yeah. But who come first? With me, I'm black first, then I'll help the rest. That's what's in it for the black people.
That is MC Ricky D. Actually, Ricky Hendon calling in with his commentary. But I got to tell y'all, man, that was kind of, I missed the whole politics ain't being bad. Now y'all be like, excuse me, he didn't get a chance to talk. I'll be like, man, you better make it happen in this world. Anybody else on the line, Riis? All right, real quick. Thank y'all for tuning in. I want to talk a couple things. There's a couple things I want to get off. I really wanted to do a whole section on it. I done had it on my list for the last couple days, but there was two things that I wanted to say. Sit in or sit it out. Get in or sit it out. Do we want to get in the game or sit out the game? And the other thing I wanted to talk about was the subtleness of black hate. So two things. First of all, yesterday I pointed out a couple things, and I think sometimes we pick the one thing that we want to take and run with, but not the whole thing, and not realizing that it's universal for black people. So yesterday, let's back up. Last week, I produced the Community Builder Awards. Did it in collaboration with Chicago News Weekly, the Mom Squad, and What's in It for the Black People Media. We all got together, and I had a sponsor that was a client who I have for the last 8 years been impressing upon how important it is for them to know, respect, and honor the black people in the city, right? White client. And Riis, I could tell you that me, Maze Jackson, having lived in the city of Chicago, have in some way, shape, or form taken on the moniker of the city of hate. I.e., if I hear somebody who, I don't like that person, I don't know that person, oh, they ain't cool with me, or they over there doing their thing. And so sometimes, Riis, I used to be one of the people that would throw people under the bus or be like, man, I ain't messing with them because they weren't me, or I didn't like them, or I didn't know very much about them. And this week, for the last year, I was able to convince my client, a white company, to invest in acknowledging black excellence. And when I looked at the list of awardees or the nominees of the awards, Riis, I can be honest with you and tell you that every one of those people not everyone, but quite a few of those people on the list have either benefited from me or maybe not necessarily don't necessarily show me love or whatever. And then there's people that were. And so I had an option last week to hate or collaborate. And I chose last week, as much as I love myself, to really honor the people in Black Chicago that have made a way in spite of the fact that Cook County is one of the worst counties in the country for black people. Right? And what I found last week was that there's a lot more opportunity for us to collaborate if we can get past our own egos or get past the self-hate that is put, or that level of competition. And don't get me twisted, I'm a competitor. But what I came to recognize is, Riis, is that all of those same people that we were honoring that had figured out a way to navigate it still have to go through the same racial stuff that we go through. They've just chosen to play the game not sit it out. And so last week I had the opportunity to put together an awards ceremony, not through the eyes of Wakandans, but through the eyes of the reality of what it takes to be successful in Black Chicago. And what I realized last week was, and it's something that I've realized over time, is why you get into networking groups, is that it's not sweet for any of us. But some of us have made the decision that we're not going to let the games, like there used to be a time, Riis, you know how you used to watch those movies and it always be the first black guy and he got his ass kicked and they did all the racist stuff to him and eventually he wound up and he proved himself, whether it's Jackie Robinson, whether it was, what's my man, when he was trying to be the diver and Robert De Niro was killing him. It's always the story, the black swim team, the black chess team, and the reality is those people, we celebrate them in the movies because they overcame all of the racial hurdles that were put in place to stop them from getting there. Make sense? And so there used to be something that we celebrated. Now it's almost like if you decide that you want to play the game, Wakanda will judge you as your six. They will ignore all of the racism and everything that you had to go through, or all of the struggles, all of the difficulty that you had to go to get to your spot, that now you're in a position to help people. And so I really want us to start thinking about how many times we're ready to attack each other, but not the real problem. So yesterday I told you that the mayor told us that reparations, that black reparations, was Invest Southwest, right? And remember when the king called up and then he showed us the white people that was involved, but then like our mode was we was going to go at the black dudes. But what I want us to understand, and King, I want you to understand, and this kind of, I had this conversation last week, is that they do it to us at a higher level. So yesterday we talked about Tory Barrett and Cornelius Griggs being involved in a project, but they had a white business partner. But can I tell you what it was? Like, Riis, it was no different than having the fiscal agent, where a black nonprofit, where the city won't give you your money or your opportunity to succeed unless you take on a white boy or a white organization to give yourself some credibility. And I had the opportunity last week to recognize that so many of the people that we put targets on their back, we don't recognize that they got a whole nother fight at a different level. Some people ain't fighting to get in the construction site. Some black dudes are fighting just to be able to, if they can do a project, not being squeezed out of the project by the black folks. And so when I inform you of these things, I think one of the things we have to do, Riis, is stop looking at the black people as the perpetrators. The black people, even if they get in the door, still then have to deal with the racism of black people saying, well, I'm not going to give you this multi-year project in your neighborhood unless you team up with a white guy because we don't trust you with the money either. It's no different than the social services. And our answer seems to be to go whoop the black people because we think that they have more power in the space. And the reality is that they're having a different level of fight. And the fight ain't, when you fighting on the door to be able to get people to work, do you understand that the burden then for them is, even if they hire you, is them being able to get the money to make the payroll? Because y'all will squeeze them, right? And they hire all the guys from the neighborhood to take out the situation so that they can get the project going. And they do leverage that opportunity. But when it's time to whoop somebody up or talk about who's the bad guy, we automatically go to the black guy. Again, our power is in the fact that you walk past the black guy because you realize that the black guy didn't put something in the space to make him have to pay the white boy or have to team up. If the black guy had access to the capital, to the economics, guess what? They would participate. But what winds up happening, and fam, it's love. It's like our target should not be, say, Cornelius and Tory. Our target should be Evergreen. Now, they got to be cool with Evergreen because that's how they're going to get their dollars unlocked to be able to participate. Because the same way that there's a fiscal agent, that's what the white boy in the project usually does. So usually what you see is these 49, 57, whatever deals, but there's always a white partner that then is in control of the profit. The black guys get to the front, but they got to deal with the same white racism where the white banks won't give you no money if you ain't dealing with the white boy. I'm going to check that email in a minute. Right? And so the question becomes, Riis, do the brothers who we know that the industry has been rigged against, when they have a chance to go through the hole, to be able to do a project, to be able to grow their business, do we hate on them for the restraints that white folks put in, or do we break down the restraints that white folks put there? Do we tell them that they got to starve? And the reality is everybody black ain't an activist. The black people in business are trying to do business. And the benefit is us having a relationship where we understand that there isn't the black guy that's putting the racial restrictions on top of us. It is the black guy who is trying to make an opportunity so that he can grow his business so one day he can be free. But if they tell you that if you want to be a part of Invest Southwest, do you say, nah, I'm going to sit out this $70 million project? Or do you say, let me get in here and let me build myself so one day I don't have to rely on them? And I think our instinct is oftentimes to attack the black person. When white folks be around, the instinct is to attack the black person because, Negro, you ain't doing enough. But have you ever had to make payroll? I mean, it's a real thing, right? Have you ever had to pay insurance? Have you ever had to pay your rent, your mortgage, all of those different components of it? And I'm not an activist, I'm in business. And then can you imagine what it has to be like when you're trying to do those things just to be able to provide for the families that you're hiring for and your fight is not with black folks because the black folks gonna whoop on you, not the white boys, as compared to you whooping the white boys saying, man, we know these brothers on our team. Now they gotta demonstrate that they on the team. But how do we do it without attacking each other? And so, Riis, I had the opportunity to sit down with one of the biggest black construction guys last week. And what I realized was, Riis, I didn't have his story. I didn't know his story. I just put together that, man, you just was the picked Negro. The easy answer for me was, you got picked as a Negro, and now you the person they done put up as the front, as compared to recognizing all of the trials and tribulations that brother had to go to get to being a place where he's at, and then realizing that once he gets to that level and it ain't the black folks there, that the white folks that's working for him are trying to sabotage him because they don't want to see him do better. And the white boys in your own company wind up getting more respect from black and white people, and you cutting the check. And you got to deal with all the problems, and you got to deal with all the black folks, and won't nobody say nothing to the white boys. So I would challenge us, and this is me, to recognize that black folks ain't the implementer of racism in business and in politics, etc. And quite frankly, right, some people have decided to make the sacrifice and say, I'll sacrifice my business to be an activist, and they're not the people that actually put people on, hire different people, do what's necessary, and I don't think we can whoop them for that. I think when we know that there are black contractors that are getting shortchanged by white companies, and we talk the lineage space, but we whoop the black dude and don't say nothing to anybody else about it. Like, everybody should be concerned. We should pick who are our people. Now, they got to do right by the people, But again, ain't nobody gonna do right by you if you kicking them in the ass and they still try. If you ain't had to make payroll, if you haven't tried to get a loan to be able to do a project and the people tell you, I ain't giving you a loan unless you got a white overseer. I just want y'all to think about getting in the game. Do you want everybody to sit it out, or do we want people while we're fighting to keep moving forward so that at one point when they finally do get the big deal, they can do the right thing? And I'm gonna be honest with you, they do the right thing. A lot of times we just don't like the people they do it with because it ain't us. Because we didn't approve them, because we want them to check in. But again, my premise is if the family, everybody ain't going to be on a construction site. So if they working, they got a black lobbyist, if they got a black lawyer, if they got black staff that's in the place, if they got black people in construction and in control of giving contracts, etc., why are we whooping their ass? Why aren't we freeing them up to be able to do more? So I just want to make sure that, right? Because here's what's going to happen, Riis. For all that I've given to black people, for all of the sacrifice that I made, when I start to go make money, guess what they're going to be like? Bust that nigga. He over there with the white people. Well, family, let me just be clear. I can count the black advertisers on one hand. I can count the black people that would help us stay in position all alone. So I want to put that out there. Then I got one more thing. Riis, last week, after honoring 12 of Chicago's most dynamic business, spiritual leaders, business, politics, streets, grassroots, all of that stuff, after honoring them, after providing a guaranteed commitment to providing scholarships to black youth and getting my client, a white company, to do it, Riis, at the middle of the event, do you know a black person walked up to me and said, excuse me, can you tell me what you having this event at this venue has to do with what's in it for the black people? Riis, I might have snapped. But what it showed me was how many people are looking for a reason to be critical of black people. Riis, there was a business owner that walked up to me. Now check this out. Riis, he was drinking my champagne, drinking my drinks, sat through the event. Then when we bought extra food, was eating my food, and was the last person to leave. And after honoring a young black man and all of the friends that he was there for, he had the audacity to ask me what was in it for the black people. Riis, I had an event where black people who weren't invited decided to come and wanted to be treated better than the awardees. Riis, I had an event where black people came to the event who weren't invited and took seats that were meant for the awardees and was like, make me move. Riis, how you come to an event and you see seats reserved for people who are receiving awards and basically said, F your rules. I'm not going to respect you or your thing. I'm here because I'm more important than the reality, the people here. And I was watching how we do business, right? So Riis, you know I got a client. The client says to y'all, this thing would not have happened if it wasn't for Maze Jackson. Maze is our representative here in this town, in this space, etc. Riis, do you know how many people approach the client? Like, I got a sponsorship that I want you to sponsor. I want you to, can you look at this? Did you know I'm such and such, such and such? Now, mind you, I'm saying to myself, family, the mans in them just, now all the white people in the world and all the white people give you the props and say, man, y'all all here. We don't know y'all from Adam. Maze told us about you, and we were willing to invest these tens of thousands of dollars to honor you. Although I don't know you from Adam, he says you the man, you the woman, etc. Riis, what possesses people to then pitch themselves and their products to the white guy, but ignore the black dude that's there that brought everybody to the table? And for me, in the same breath where somebody asked me what's in it for the black people, at the same event where all of the white people was like, man, cuz we'll do more for you, but you got to work through our agent in the city, Maze. I watched as people lined up to go to the white boys who literally be like, Maze, I'm not carrying a card because I don't know these people, and they're calling me when they should be calling you. And the first thing they say is, man, why is your friends, if these are people that's supposed to be in y'all network, why are they talking to me when you obviously have the opportunity to make these things happen? I looked at the post recaps of people who took pictures of themselves at the event without acknowledging the event, right? Without acknowledging, with purposely removing the names of the companies, the clients, etc., and presenting it as if it was their event. And I wonder why we have such a problem respecting each other in the space of business, especially when white people get in the room. It was amazing to me to watch the number of people that sought out the two white guys who clearly told everybody in the room, that's our guy. That's the guy who can make it happen in Chicago. And the black folks in the room wanted to pitch their wares. And I don't understand that. Like, where is the respect for the chain of command? Where is the respect for, like, family? It was my client, my room. We could all do better. We could have bought ads from all of your publications. We could have supported all the things that you did, but you went to the white boys and skipped over me. And the white boys be like, well, why would we do business with you if they're going to just skip over you? When we trust your judgment to bring us there. And I don't understand. And then it's like, it's kind of why we can't get ahead in business. It's kind of the reason why you don't want to introduce people, because everybody is always trying to figure out a way to beat you with your own people. Family. If we all came together, and if we all came together and everybody said, hey, you know what? You got a relationship with dude and them? I'm not going to try and go around you. I'm going to holler at you. I think about how many times people have approached my clients for business, and the client sends it back to me and says, man, I know I met this person through you, but they're now trying to pitch me instead of you. Am I supposed to then be like, oh, let's help them? Or am I supposed to be like, damn, so you knew me, you knew I was a thing, but you wanted to call everybody else to prove that you could do better than me in the space, as compared to being like, let's collaborate and let me figure out how can we do that? I don't know where our I don't know how we get together and do better in business when we violate business codes regularly. When the white boys get in the room, they don't try to cut each other out. What they say is, this is what I do. You know the person? Look, I got a guy that does it. And I just thought, just once, maybe once, and I really came to this epiphany because, I was talking smack on Saturday last week about ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings, and I had a real conversation with a brother who said, man, brother, if I don't participate if I don't get a part of this, I can't feed the people that I got working. And I just think that we have to learn black business etiquette. You pitching my clients for your project, please understand they're going to come back to me. And then when I say no, because you knew, but you chose to skip me to go to them because you thought you was the special guy. And again, my premise is that's why you don't bring people to your neighborhood. That's why people don't share their events. That's why it is a crabs in the barrel mentality, or when people close their hands up and they don't tell you about stuff because they know that if I put you in a room with the source, how many times are you going to try and downplay me to go to the source? And then when you find out that, then you want to come back and then you want to phony kick it. But it's like, nah, fam, you presented, you got your answer, right? Then you'll ask me about what's in it for the black people. See, what's in it for the black people in some spaces has become, let me just take your shit. And so I just think, and some of y'all, my sister won't let me call names. But like, you prove yourself as a hater when you approach other people's clients about business without talking to them. And it is so often to me, black folks, we don't do business with each other, and we find ourselves cutting each other out when we could be building each other up. So to the haters, to the people who came just to see, right? To hope that it would be unsuccessful. We got another 3-year commitment to do it. So we'll be holding those awards again. But I really hope that over the course of this year, we can figure out a way to operate together without trying to cut each other. Because the reality is, it's usually not the black people that are the implementers of racism. We're all trying to figure out a way in. And once somebody gets in, then we should run and share the play. So instead of trying to go around, instead of because I know we all like to believe that the white guys is better. But I hope you understand what you look like to people who have a way of doing business with each other. And the more you're willing to cut out people, the more they recognize that you would do the same to them. Sometimes it takes more work to hate than it does to celebrate. Like, sometimes you got to go out of your way to think about how you going to be bogus as compared to just being like, you know what? And thank you to Tennille. Thank you to Carrie Steele, my beautiful, lovely wife, for taking me out of that space Friday. Thank you to Cheryl, and thank you to Virgie for all of the people that put the work together. But I just need to tell y'all, man, that is not the way that we're going to do business together. And I think when we start to find out about racist tendencies and practices, we should really start to think about is the black person really the implementer of the racism? Look, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Oh, and I want to point out that Mr. What's in it for the black, who got all the What's in it for the black people questions, never advertised on the show. Always got somebody, is always the victim. And every time we go to your joint, we always spending money. And you came in front of all of the clients to be like, what can you tell me what's in it for the black people with us having at this venue? Well, at least we could get a drink. How about that? And they were staffed. Anyway, I'm going to stop because you made me mad. All right, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. I am your host, Maze Jackson, where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said we out of here. Peace.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more in black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gonna sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get the Senate. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Lenders give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And up the seal carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this is a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.